the day O.J. Simpson was acquitted, they stopped school and announced that. And we're like 7. Does this matter?
Hey everybody, it's Saturn Dave here. They're talking in the background, no biggie. Happy Friday, it's SHIRO Show, and we've got a special guest. I swear the show is never not entertaining. I swear. If you guys are listening, you're missing out. If you're listening after the fact, you're missing out. Happy Friday, guys. Saturn Dave here. We got Trainoco, and we got Adam Koralik in the BVM here, joining us to talk about Saturn and stuff like that. And yeah, how are you doing, Adam?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah. I don't know how much of that you caught, but it's true.
I caught it all. Well, when we went to the MTV kind of screen, we could hear you guys talking, but it's okay.
Yeah, cool. I didn't realize. I thought we were doing the 5-minute count. I was like, oh, I have time to chit chat about Adam with the.
Well, no, you usually cut the countdown short, like when we're running late. So I did too.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that, but yeah, we're just talking about the conservatorship with Britney that's officially dissolved now, and then he brought up that when OJ was acquitted, they announced it over his school's PA.
They did.
Wow.
We're like 6 or 7. We're like, why are they telling us
Why
this?
are they telling us this?
But they did. I remember that very well.
Nice. Well,
yeah, no.
We're supposed to have Roger Vega, the owner of the Sega Pluto, here with us, and he might show up. He might roll in a little late, and if he does, that we're going to have a little bit of technical difficulties, but you guys can just bear with us while we kind of rearrange. But in the meantime, we'll just get started with Adam asking questions about this whirlwind of Sega Pluto business that's been going on.
Yeah.
Coming on the tail
Did you want
of...
to introduce?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my name's Adam Koralik. I'm a YouTuber. I've been talking about video game stuff for... I've actually been doing YouTube for 12 years. I'm a dinosaur on the platform.
Kidding.
Yeah, I know, right? It's ridiculous. And so, I even have a Saturn shirt for you guys right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I planned it out. And I think other than Dave, I think I've met all of you at some point over time. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, I think I bought a Christmas Nights off you, didn't I?
You bought a Deep Fear from me, I think.
Deep Fear, that's right. I bought a Deep Fear off you. So that was our previous interaction.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I love talking retro video games and especially Sega history. I have a big affinity for that.
Same. We're like super game preservation and Sega history nerds. Like almost more so than playing the games anymore. But that's what happens when you get old. Yeah. No kidding. Like Adam, you've been on YouTube for so long. I don't mean to age you, but I mean, I think you got me started down my whole road of like being super into RGB and high res video and everything.
Same.
You were doing like a review.
The same thing.
You're doing like a review of an Atlona scaler for like this way back then.
That was like 2011.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
I fell down this rabbit hole of like, well, wait, if the Dreamcast can look so good via VGA, then why can't every console look good via VGA? And so I kind of went that way. I didn't do the RGB SCART BVM thing. I ended up getting like VGA box solutions for like all my consoles, and it's a crazy. So I'm gaming on like pro CRTs and stuff like that. But Pat, he went like the more traditional RGB BVM route and everything. It's funny, but I got started on watching your videos, so thank you.
Sorry that I cursed both of you with that.
Yes.
But yeah.
It's cool. That was a cool device. I actually was pretty angry with you back then because like I can't find this device anywhere. Why did Adam lie to me? I need this device for my Dreamcast.
I found it. It didn't age well though,
Yeah.
I mean, it was great back then because that's all we knew, right?
Framemeister for the win. Although Framemeister and Saturn, not the best of friends, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm still rocking an XRGB too, and that works really well because it's analog and it loves like the different frequencies and stuff. But yeah, Framemeister is a great product, and now of course you have the 5X, so folks are crazy about the
5X all the way. Yeah.
Nice. Do you have one?
Yeah. Of course.
That's right.
Mike sent me one early because I help him bug test those things a little bit because like I'm sitting on like every console, so he's like, run it with this, see if it does anything. Like initially I ran it with the Atari Jaguar and it didn't work. It would just give a green screen. I was like, here's what happens, and he was like, oh, okay, update, and now it works. So like Yeah,
That's
I
wonderful.
like to play with that kind of stuff.
What is your?
It's really cool.
Oh, go ahead.
How many
Go
options
ahead.
we have nowadays for videos and stuff. It's insane that we went from like having like 2 or 3 devices to like having like almost like 8 or 10 of them. There's like so many options and so much availability. It's like you can literally not go wrong nowadays.
I agree. Retro gaming has never been more accessible. And Roger just texted me. Where you at?
Where are you at?
Where you at?
I'm just gonna call him. I'm just gonna straight up call him and see how this goes. Let's embarrass him on live streams.
It's cool. It's cool.
Put the phone up to the
But
camera in front of the mic.
Yeah, the last time I met, yeah.
Yo, you're on live right now. Where are you? Everybody's like, what's going on, man? Yes, we're waiting for you, buddy. Come on in. Yeah. All right. Yeah, go in Discord and follow the instructions there. Okay. All right. See you soon. Bye.
No kidding though. Like from like curb CRTs to obviously much more expensive CRT. There's an option for everybody, and I know some people who literally just like to ball with like the consumer CRT. I got a friend who's all about the wood grain CRTs, and he's like, I don't even care if it's composite. That's how I played it when I was a kid, you know? So it's like no judgment. It's like whatever you like, there's something for you now. And it's not like 10 years ago when we were just like really had to like shop some really, really obscure websites to find like some hardware that would make what we wanted to do work. You know, now it's like there's solutions for everybody.
Order from Japan, hope they don't take our money and run away with it.
Yeah.
Gaming has never been more universally friendly than it is now. It's expensive for other reasons, but everybody's got options. I think that's like the coolest part about it now.
I get like newsletters.
You just gotta go ODE nowadays. ODE and like the upscares are good to go.
I'll get like newsletters from random, HD video processor sites, and I'm just like, what did I get from these? Like, I probably sold it by now, you know? Like, I don't, but I'm still getting the newsletter because it's interesting.
I kept mine.
Yeah.
I have all my stuff, man, but I'm a hoarder, so it's fine.
I understand that. I understand that. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit too, but then again, you come up against space, and what did you say about the immovable object? You know, for me, space.
What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? It's the paradox of collecting. It's
absolutely.
I need physical space, but I want to occupy it.
Right.
Exactly. And it's kind of funny. We've actually had Adam on before. If you watch our video, it's like E3 2018. SHIRO at E3 2018.
We filmed outside the Staples Center.
Yeah, behind the Staples Center, and there's actually a funny anecdote I don't think we talked about on the podcast, is that right after we did the interview, 3 guys walked up, like, yeah, hey, what are you doing, man? And we're like, yeah, we're just doing interviews for America's Best Dance Crew or something like that.
I remember that.
And we were like, I forgot exactly. We were just like improving it, and I was like, yeah, I did not expect you to do that. And they're like, yeah, I just usually when people interrupt like that or like get nosy, I get kind of annoyed and like just improv stuff.
Yeah.
So
you do well.
I thought it was pretty fun.
That was during
it was a really funny time.
That was during the whole Nintendo PlayStation whirlwind, wasn't it? Were you touring with Terry in 2018?
Yes. Yes, but that wasn't part of that. No. That was just E3.
Oh, okay. That was. I meant that year. The 2018, I think, was the year that. Or was it before that? He did it from
2016 to 2019.
And you were kind of involved on the tail end of that, right? That's right. Okay.
I was involved from 2016 to 2019, just not the first year.
Oh, okay.
Initially, it was Dixon Wu, was a guy in Hong Kong who really got the ball rolling on that, and they did a show out there. And then after that, he started getting invited to more domestic stuff. I met him in 2016 at AVGC in New Jersey, and from there, we just started seeing each other at cons all the time. So eventually, the final end piece of that, you guys were, some of you at least, were at PRGE 2019. That was like the swan song final performance of the Nintendo PlayStation prototype.
Right.
I think Kay was. I don't think we were.
I know Kay was.
But yeah.
Kay was.
It's me, Ben, and.
No, that was 18.
Brian.
I think 19.
That was 19.
Ben was there. I remember Ben was there.
19? Okay, yeah.
He's in my footage. I know he was there.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I couldn't remember if he was or not. Because I know they did 18. I wasn't sure if they did 19 as well.
They did 19. I remember because we hung out, and you were cool enough, Kay, to let us borrow the Hitachi Navi Saturn, which was very nice of you. And we put it next to the Nintendo PlayStation prototype, along with the Atari Jaguar Hot Rod dental unit. There's only 7 of those that ever were made. We have one. It was there, so we were like, let's put them together and just have 3 really weird things in the same moment. But yeah, no, so I would hang out with Terry a lot at that show, and at the end of it, you know, he told me, he's like, all right, go ahead and disconnect it and all that stuff. So it occurred to me, I'm gonna be the last person that ever plays this, because at that point we knew he was selling it. So I played it for a bit, I filmed that moment, you know, he made a little cameo, and then I put that eventually in a video.
I remember that.
I found out very recently, talking to somebody at Heritage Auctions, because they were the ones who ultimately sold it, that after the show, they took it from him down to Texas. They kept it in a vault. Eventually, it was sold to Greg McLemore, who's the guy who created Pets.com. And then he brought it out to like a vault, and it's sitting in his like place in Los Angeles. I met someone else recently, I believe it works at Old School Gamer, who said, you know, I'm friends with him, and I've seen it now at his house in Los Angeles, but he's like, he doesn't play it. Like, that thing is behind glass. He's probably never even used it. So as far as I know, per those sources, I'm still the last person that ever played it, as whatever worthless asterisk that is.
I'm surprised that I don't know, like, you pay like thousands of dollars for it. You don't like think, you know what, let me boot up a game and just play it for fun, you know, just like I don't know, I just can't imagine buying something, just putting it behind glass. I don't know, maybe it's just me.
It's like buying a painting or something. It's not like buying a console as we would think of it. We're not on that level. That's a different level of collector. Like, I buy, you know, like, that's like Jay Leno and his like army of cars that he's got. Like, he's not really driving all those. It's kind of the same mentality. Also, by the way, hi, Roger.
Yeah, Roger's in the chat.
It took me a while. Sorry for the lag.
It's all cool. It's all good. But yeah, no, it's kind of a sadness. I remember, I know Terry sadly passed away, and it was pretty sad. I talked to him quite a bit. I know he went to Game On Expo, I think 17 or 16 with it, and he was a really cool dude. Him and his son. And I had him on Facebook, and I'm mutual friends with him. I don't know if you know Jared. He's Mr. Wizard. He did the Ghostbusters 2 NES carts, like the glowing ones.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah. He also did the game disc that they for the PlayStation. The PlayStation. A Nintendo PlayStation game they had for that. I don't know
Super Boss Guide. Yeah, I met him at PRGE. He was wearing a wizard hat. Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty cool dude, and I knew him between him and we talked a little bit. And he's a really cool dude. Sad he passed away though. I definitely feel bad. I really wish I could have seen him again before he ended the bringing it around, but I know that it just didn't happen. Get back to Arizona, sadly. So
yeah.
But he did it like 2 years, so I mean, I can't. I had plenty of opportunity, and I get to play it. So
he did that for 4 years.
Oh no, he brought it in Arizona for 2 years.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
No, sorry, that's what I meant. But yeah, he was a really cool dude. His son was also cool too. I had him on Facebook. I don't know if his son still has Facebook up though. I think he. But anyways, he's a really cool dude, and he's definitely gonna be missed for sure. So glasses up to Terry.
Yeah, I got coffee, but definitely I'm with you.
Woo!
Actually, I bought Terry a 6-pack the night before the last PRGE with it, and that's when we filmed this video. He let me do a hands-on review of it. So aside from Ben Heck, obviously, who had very intimate access to it, I was the only one who ever got to do like a full-on just I'm gonna hold it and let's do an entire review of this thing. And in Terry's case, I just, as a thank you, I was like, "What do you want?" He's like, "Beer," and I was like, "All right then." and I was like, so we just went over to the grocery store and like pick something. He just picked the 6-pack of cheap domestic beer he wanted. It was like $6.95 or whatever. I was like, you got it, that's the deal.
Like, sorry for the technical difficulties, folks, but thanks for bearing with us. That's awesome. I would take beer too as payment. I'm a beer nut. Well, okay, so where do we want to go from here with the conversation? So we had Terry, awesome guy, and rest in peace. And that was an awesome video that that Adam put up last time that console was played before it got sold. And then it's like you already were in contact with Roger, right, at that time about the Pluto.
So, Roger, do you want me to tell the story, Roger, or do you want to tell this?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the thing was with Roger was I didn't know him. I had never heard of him having the Pluto before. Like the whole original incident where you basically revealed that you had it online. I was not made aware of any of that. What happened was in late 2019, I was hanging out with a buddy of mine, and we were in a store in Campbell, California, and we're just chatting with the owner. His name is Rudy. And he just randomly goes like, Adam, do you know what the Sega Pluto is? And I was like, yeah, it's that like long version of the console. Like I knew what it was, even because like nobody ever really gives, nobody ever, other than guys like us, nobody ever has really heard of that type of thing. And then Rudy's like, oh, do you want to see it? The owner lives like 10 minutes from here.
No way.
And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, I'll call him up. And then sure enough, Roger picks up. He's like, what's up, man? And he's like, all right, I'll be there. And he shows up 10 minutes later with the Pluto just in a cardboard box. And I was just like stunned to see it. And I had like if you remember, Roger, I had like a million questions for you. And you're like, yeah, man, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. I don't care. And he just like kept trying to hand it to me and be like, dude, I don't care. Go play it. Do whatever you want. You nerd. Go do whatever you got to do. So then, so we made a whole video about it. I tried to figure out everything I could about it. And that was the video we released. I think it was either very late 2019 or very early 2020. I think it was late 2019. And it was, I thought that'd be the last time I ever saw it. But then I kind of remember, Roger, I was just complaining at you. I'm like, can we fix it? I mean, tell me from your perspective, because I don't need to cover for you. Go for it. What do you got?
Well, yeah, like you were saying, because that was the little hinge and shit. And you were just like, yeah, you can meet Ben, blah blah blah, and you can actually look at it. And I was like, yeah, I don't know shit about this fucking thing. I don't want to fuck it up because that's why I haven't opened it because I don't know anything about it. Because that was the thing when I posted it initially on IGN, fucking Destructoid or whatever. I put it on an article about me talking about it, and it was like a picture of it and the Satanic Bible next to it. That was like the first photo reveal, and people were just like, he made that, it's fake. I'm like, no, I'm not that smart. Like, that's not a fucking thing. Like,
I like how you use the Satanic Bible as a scale for it.
I mean, if you got to start somewhere, it's like, who's gonna go and fake that? I mean, if you're really gonna argue something, it's just like, no.
Wow.
Yeah, but so when I assessed it, there actually wasn't really much wrong with it. It totally worked. It only had two obvious flaws. The first was the disk drive was always up, like the lid. It did not close at all. Later on, Ben figured out the reason for that was Sega drilled the hole for it, but they never built the actual mechanism, like the spring and all that, to keep it closed. So later, Ben Heck went on to fix that. The only other issue with it was that, sometimes on a Saturn, the first controller port just stops working, and if you like lift it up a little, it starts working again.
Right.
That happened on this. And so I figured that out. I was like, if I lift it up, it works. So I told Ben.
Broken solder joint, right?
Right. Well, I don't remember exactly what he said. I think it was something about a trace or something. But either way, he was able to. He was like, "There's nothing." So he fixed that all up, and then he like redid everything under the hood. Again, Ben did an entire teardown video where he showed all this. So I'm gonna, no matter what I say, I'm not gonna do it justice.
Speaking to the video, I believe he said it was a broken solder joint just because of all the downforce. So he just reflowed the connectors and fixed that, and then he 3D printed the little mechanism you were talking about to pin the door closed. Yeah, that was cool.
I agree.
Yeah, I remember we definitely had some people that were like, I can't believe he's wrecking the Saturn. I can't believe he's scraping the paint. It's like, well, I mean, it's just like paint on the undercoat. I definitely get it, but it adds the functionality back. So it's like, it's like, what are you going to do, right?
They probably didn't treat it very well. Like being a prototype, they were thinking, oh, it's just, so they probably like did kind of toss it around a little. Because I'm thinking like this thing wouldn't have endured years of gaming, that would break a solder joint like that. It would be more like it was plugged in and somebody like walked over and like kind of like bumped it or something. And it was like, we don't care because, who cares? It's just a prototype.
So, Roger, why don't you, we know how little they cared about it. Tell them how you got it.
Yes. It's a great story.
I found it at a flea market. Yeah, no, this dude had a table and he had all kinds of miscellaneous shit on it. And I remember he had one of those little Sega channel things, the little adapters that you plug into it. He had that. He had the Pluto and a bunch of other random shit. And he thought it was a VCR. And so I was like, dude, like, how much do you want for that? Yeah. And he was like, $5. I was like, I'll give you $3. And so
that was the smartest $3 you've ever spent.
Easily.
Well, and the thing is, I sat on it. I sat on it for so long because I had it in high school. I got it like late 90s. And
99, if I recall correctly.
yeah, I had it then, and then so I would go online, the internet then, and like people were like, no, it's a knockoff, so it's Japanese, and so I tried running Japanese games on it, and I was like, oh, it doesn't work. Cool, whatever, and it just sat in a drawer for like years, hella years.
20 almost.
Wow.
Do the math.
Yeah.
You got it in 99. We didn't work on it till 2019. That's 20 years of
Wow.
it just sitting in a
Yeah,
shoebox.
no, it's just sat, and again, it's gone through so many video games and all kinds of shit. I'm surprised I still had it. Again, it was just like, oh, I have that. Like,
That's
I'm very
insane.
glad that you still.
I'm just surprised that it somehow got into the hands of that guy who thought it was a VHS player. It's
well, a
like-
lot of people at the flea markets, they do a lot of the storages, so they'll just go and buy shit and flip it for a couple bucks. So
And
again,
this
they
was
just
where?
he didn't know what it was.
This was in the Bay Area? Or
Yeah, no, this is in Stockton.
Okay, Sega of America, very close to that. So their
Yeah,
headquarters.
especially with the port there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, more than likely it's like some employee took it home, maybe bought like a storage locker. Oh, hey, it's in kind of like with the Sony PlayStation, where it's like, oh yeah, it's just in a bunch of stuff that was not taken care of and just sitting there. I
Yeah,
just bought it.
yeah. Because all these miscellaneous. I just remember he had a table that was like a plank with some not the dollies, but the ponies or whatever the fuck they called. It was all makeshift as shit. Like there was nothing fancy about his setup.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. You got that for $3. That's great.
That was
Well,
probably the biggest steal of all time. Like that's, I don't even know. Like, I mean, I know Terry got his for like what, $50 or something.
Terry, do you want to hear actually? Because Terry told me all the details about this. Do you want to
Sure.
hear? Terry, no offense, Roger. Terry debatably got a better deal. So here's the thing. So Terry was working as just a hired grunt for this company to go in, and there was another company that was basically doing an estate sale because they had foreclosed. The company had failed. The person who had run that company was Olaf Olafsson, the first
Right.
president of PlayStation. That's why he had it in the first place. Okay, so that's key. He was supposed to destroy it. He didn't. It ended up in a random office.
Yes.
So estate sale thing comes around. Terry's just a guy who's just like, hey, I'm working for minimum wage to pack stuff up. And he goes in and packs up, he sees a whole bunch of plates and cups and saucers, that's how he described it, and forks and knives and stuff. He'd be like, oh, I want all this. I'll put it all in the same box. That's all he cared about. So then they did this Storage Wars auction type of style thing for a random box. He knew which one it was, and he was like, $75. And he won that, and that's all he cared about was the box of forks and knives and stuff. Afterwards,
We're talking like Sony branded forks and knives?
no, just forks and
Okay.
knives, nothing to do with Sony.
Maybe they were silver or
Gotta
something
be
like
forks
that.
and
Yeah.
knives.
Afterwards, so he gets the box and he's like, and there's 10 boxes with it, and he's like, I just bought the one, and they were like, nobody bought any of these. You're the only person who bought a box. These are all yours. And so he just took all that stuff. Inside one of them, Nintendo PlayStation prototype. So he basically got it for free.
Fuck.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah.
still think the Pluto's the better deal, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
Of course you are.
Of course you are. I mean, yeah. I mean, arguably they both do the Pluto plays a lot more games. If we want to be honest,
The
It's more
Pluto
functional,
plays.
yeah.
The
it
Pluto
plays the Saturn
plays-
library.
It plays it plays the North American Saturn
True,
library.
true. Yeah.
The Nintendo PlayStation plays the Japanese Super Nintendo library or Super Famicom library.
Well, to be honest,
Kind of a funny comparison.
you guys haven't used
Funny,
any of
like,
those
contrast.
janky. You haven't used any of those janky ST keys or anything like that, right? Because of the non-beveled edge and the huge PCB that would just wreck that console.
Yeah, I'm not willing to. We had that discussion. Well,
Yeah.
actually, my buddy Jesse and I did. Roger was like, "Oh, do whatever you want," but I was just like, "I will," because he's like that. He's very cool.
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
like, "Don't worry, Roger. I got you. I'm gonna take care of your baby here. It's fine."
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of those, the Game Shark that have the thicker pins. I even said it in the video. I was like, we could technically try this,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna put that in a prototype because that could really mess it up.
But
we
for
tried
all we
action
know-
replays.
Yeah. For all we know, it just plays the US games. Sorry, Pat, stepped on your
Yeah.
toes. What was your story?
Oh, I didn't think I had a story. I was gonna say that I was gonna say that we were talking on the Discord, and a couple of the indie developers were saying that it could be that that it could be two things: that it was set that it wasn't like registered, or it wasn't registered to be detected, or that it's being detected but there's a pen issue. So it could also be maybe there's a pen, a bent pen or something that registers the net link, but not the action replay and the other stuff.
It's
so
possible.
There's that possibility.
Ben did not notice anything like that, but to be fair, I don't think he really tore through that particular cartridge port all that much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something we can assess. I'm more curious, like, what something like the Satiator might do, because this thing does have the VCD card slot, so theoretically that'll work. Stay tuned, because if you ever see a video show up in my feed about that, it worked. And if you never do, it didn't work.
Somebody jokingly in the comments is like, do the swap trick.
Dude, no joke. People have actually said, like, do that. I'm like, I'm not doing that to a prototype. Other people were like, take out the board and like replace it with an ODE. I'm like, can you shut up? Like, it's not. We're not doing that. Like,
there is
honestly
something you could do, because you did have like the lid off for it for a while. There's a cartridge that came out called, gosh, let me get it.
He's looking for that, but
while Kay's looking for it, Kay has he has a gamer's cart, Saturn gamer's cart, and that you've not tried. And I think if you end up rendezvousing with Kay, you guys might try the gamer's cart.
Kay is one of the Saturn gods, one of the mini ones. So
I would actually say he is the.
He's definitely the craziest when it comes to.
I'm glad we're in agreement with that then.
No, I'm giving him like upper echelon top tier. Yes, I will say that for him, because I can also very arrogantly say I'm the Dreamcast version of that.
Yeah, you are. I would not ever. If anybody asked me on the street, like, oh, Adam Koralik, he's the Dreamcast guy.
I'm coming for you, Adam. No, I'm getting that collection up. I'm getting those obscure consoles.
Can I tell you an amusing side story based on what you just said? It's not super. I was down in PAX South in San Antonio once in Texas, and a random guy walks up to me. He's like, yo, why didn't you come to Retropalooza? We invited you. I was like, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. I have not heard of this. And he's like, long story short, he goes away, comes back later. He's like, I found out what happened. I talked to my boss. He wanted you, didn't remember your name, so he called you the Dreamcast guy. So we tried getting the Dreamcast guy, and Max showed up.
Oh, no. The Dreamcast guy.
So I was like, that is amazing. Then later that day, I saw Max. I told him that story, and he thought it was amazing. So anyway,
that's so funny.
This close to being the Dreamcast guy.
Seriously, though, but I don't think there's anything for Dreamcast that you don't have.
There's definitely some stuff. Actually, we went down to the National Video Game Museum in Frisco, Texas, and they move stuff around. So they have a lot of things out on display and whatever. So they didn't have much Dreamcast stuff, but they did have a dev kit. I'm like, I got that. No, who cares? Then I'm looking around their prototypes. They have one Dreamcast prototype there. It was a GDR of Propeller Arena. I'm like,
oh my god,
that's like the one thing I don't have. And I remember bidding on it, like 10 years ago, being like, I want, and I got outbid by a museum.
And that's such a rad game too. Like, such a rad game. And I
like
love the soundtrack. Yeah.
Like, you can have access to the burn copy or whatever.
Sure. But I mean, to have the GD-ROM of that, no. Yeah, that would be awesome. There is a rip though. There is like a GD-ROM rip of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's easy. I got that all day long, just like anybody else does. I'm just saying that original GDR disc. The irony is, I have all the hardware to actually like make my own. I just won't do that because that's not cool. Right. Like I have the GD writer, the GD ripper, the GD extractor, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The disc is the part I don't have. I would have to go to the museum with all that stuff.
Oh, you don't have any blank?
I rip your game?
Yeah.
Adam's gonna start a piracy business soon.
Oh, God.
He's got all the good equipment.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna sell
games.
I'm gonna sell a game that's been dumped for 20 years. Yeah.
He's gonna outclass all those eBay sellers. You just need a system disc, right?
Yeah.
I would need blank discs. I have one blank disc, so it would have to be very successful.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
To circle back for just a second about the swap trick thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only trick to that with even the prototype is that since the lid has already been off, the only thing that it cares about is making contact with the lid switch. And this exterminator has a built-in swap trick thing that it does. So you can actually just push a button and it stops the CD motor automatically. So it is actually possible to try it that way.
Oh, okay. Ooh. It forces a swap. It forces like a safe swap trick. Exactly. That's an interesting solution.
We actually talked about it back in like I think a season 2 or season 3 podcast episode.
Reminds
We'll
me
have
of
to go back.
it reminds me of those PlayStation discs, you know, and the Swap Magic discs for the PS2, that kind of thing.
I had one
love
of those.
that
Actually,
thing.
still,
Yeah.
I think I still have it in the closet. I'm not gonna go get it right now, but
I still have 'em.
I played Dragon Ball GT all the time with it. Amazing.
Yeah, mine's over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the
Just
cluster
somewhere-
of games.
somewhere over
I
there.
don't want to look right now.
The pile of stuff that's going to overtake me.
Actually, I know
Yeah.
exactly where it is. It's just not attainable. It's
Right.
in another
Exactly.
room. But
You
yeah.
gotta fight through like 12 rows of games to get
We
to
have
it.
a guy.
much.
We have a guy. So Burnt Ends or Seawin, he is the guy that's behind the Sakura Wars Game Boy Color translation that just dropped, and he also has done like other projects with the Bulk Slash game and other Sakura Wars projects. He makes a living in drive forensics, and he keeps telling me like, oh, I want to be able to poke and prod that drive and see what's on it, you know, on a forensic level, you know. And then others are just like, you know, honestly, it's probably just a factory drive that they popped in there at the last second, you know.
Hey, well, first of all, any such decisions are ultimately Roger's. Who? Hey,
Sure.
what do you know? He's
Oh,
on the
absolutely,
line.
absolutely.
Secondly, I can essentially guarantee you it's blank.
Yeah.
We got nowhere with it. I mean, where does this guy live?
I don't know. Burntons, if you're in the chat, tell us where you live. I don't remember.
I'll
Because
ask
there-
him afterwards.
Yeah, theoretically that can be arranged. I mean,
I actually
know-
talked with Ben about that after you guys did your video. I
Oh.
reached out to him and asked him to do see if we could perform a dump of that hard drive to try and do it through some like forensic analysis. That was like a year ago when I talked with him about it. But we basically like it's an IDE style laptop hard drive, right?
yeah. If I had known you wanted it, I would have had it. But it's over there.
Never mind.
Like
I confused him.
everything
I
over there.
confused him with someone else in our chat because he does HVAC design. But somebody in our chat, and I thought it was Seawin, was like, "I do drive forensics, and I'm screaming at my phone. I want them to like look at it, you know."
Oh, dude, we're listening.
Yeah, we're listening.
We're here. Let's get some microscopes on those digits. Let's see what's on
But
that
yeah,
drive.
so
Honestly,
orders
yeah,
of
I was telling Dave before that. Honestly, I did testing for like hardware back in the day, especially with like hard drives.
was gnarls.
More than likely, that's just the last thing they shoved in there before they killed the project. It's like, yeah, another test drive. Here you go. Okay, bye.
a prop to show
like,
that it had
further.
that was the plan, you know. I mean, I imagine this was like the PS2 with Final Fantasy 11 before the PS2 with Final Fantasy 11. You'd have had you'd have been downloading Command and Conquer campaigns over dial-up, you know, and they'd store them on the little drive or whatever. But I imagine it was just a prop to kind of show proof of concept, like we could have a drive here, and it
That's
would be
exactly what I think happened.
yeah. But orders of business, if you do meet up with Kay, the idea is to use the gamer's cart to see if you can dump the BIOS. You also know a guy who has a satiator, and you're going to get that in there.
We're gonna work on that one. Yeah, I mean, there's like a long list of things we want to do.
A laundry list.
It's funny. It is funny though, because like I put out the video and a bunch of people are, like complaining, why didn't you do this? It's like, it's a process, man.
Right,
Like
yeah.
that video took 2 years. Give me a minute.
Seriously.
We kind of suffer through a human deadly disease right now. Can we catch a little bit of a break? We're still doing it. This isn't like this isn't going away in a museum. No
We're not
worries,
like
guys.
in a hurry to finish here.
Although spoilers, Roger said he's selling it tonight, so it's going to be trashed, or he wants me to
damn.
break it. I'm not really sure. So,
I
but
think
yeah,
we
so
can break it. That's just my opinion. I don't know. It's just my opinion.
that's how you know Roger's cool. Like occasionally I'll text him and be like, "Oh, dude, I dropped it. It's trash," and he's like, "Oh well." Like, so he's a cool guy. Like he knows I'm kidding. That's why it's okay.
Sure.
But, like,
Honestly, if Kay gets a hold of it, he's gonna start through an impact. Like I don't know or not, but I know once Kay gets a hold of that thing, it's third impact. That's what's foretold the prophecy.
I
Kay
kind
can
of
probably
feel
confirm
like
that.
you have a bit of a safety net though, because you have some connections, you know, with people who can fix shit. So it's like, you know, if anything does go wrong, you know, maybe it's not the end of the world. I don't know, maybe it is. You're just like, do tell.
He like has my Prologue 21 right now. I sent it to him to try and see if he can get that thing powered up as a result of that. And that's kind of how I started getting, you know, like even partially involved with Roger. It was through Ben, actually.
Yeah.
We've been chit-chatting every once in a while. I'm still very much interested in, like, you know, the whole hardware thing and your story about that. I'm like, I know that you got it at the swap meet and that it cost you $3, which is just mind-blowing. When did you realize that you had something like truly special?
It was when that guy, I think he posted a Destructoid too, because he had 02 and I think I have 01. That he said that he had that one, and he was like, "Yeah, I mean, my friend worked on it. Nobody really knew about it, and I wanted people to see it." Because again, the only thing I knew about it was a long Sega Saturn, and it had the symbol on the door. That's the only way I knew what it was to begin with. And again, like I said, it just been sitting in a drawer with a bunch of other like Sega, not Nomads, but the older Segas.
Like a Genesis Master System. Okay.
Yeah.
So that would have been 2013, right?
Yeah, it was like 2013 or something, because he was living in Japan and he said like his friend passed away or something, and that's why he was showing people. He was like, yeah, like, because everything went to shit, and then everybody got stuff on their way out of Sega, and he held on to that one.
A really nice piece. So, off of this, like, I know that you've had some other things that you've been like trying to find out information on, like that one PlayStation.
Yeah, the developers conference disc.
Yeah, did you ever find anything out about it? Because I couldn't find
No,
anything.
no, I still haven't found out anything about that thing. It's like factory sealed too, so I don't want to just open it up and be like, yeah, what the fuck is this? Like,
Do you have it near you? Is it something you can go show people?
I got it. Give me a minute.
Yeah, okay.
I think
You guys
could see it because I don't.
Oh,
think
that's right. It's this camera. Sorry, I didn't think about that. I see him. That's why I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah, no, don't worry about it, Roger.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I forgot
If
you're
you
not
put
on
in the
camera.
Discord though, we'd love to see it. I'll
yeah,
put
if
it
you
in the
wanna take
video
photos.
afterwards. Just take a picture of it.
Oh, I think I might have those photos we took of it back in back at the office.
Yeah.
Let
That's the
me.
best part about post production. We can add in stuff when we don't have it. So if you got stuff you want me to add in, just let me know. I'll put it in the post.
And
Let
I
me
want to
see if
make
I
an
can find
announcement
this
while you're looking for that. For folks who are in the chat, or please hang with us for the second hour, because Pat and the Bulk / crew are going to be streaming a new Navigator, Cologne. And so they're going to be doing an interview with those guys, and you guys want to hang out. We're going to, bring people into the room and allow people to chat and stuff like that. I'm going to have to drop probably in about 25 minutes. We got a little late of a start. So, but yeah, we'll be here for another hour, and we'll be streaming some Bulk / too. So don't go away.
Okay, I just posted them in the general on your Discord.
Gotcha. Dave, we're still frozen.
Oh,
there we go.
No, yeah, you're good.
And I'm off screen.
Did you leave? You're
No.
good. You just got back on, so there you are.
Oh, there we go. Weird. All right, sorry. Discord acting up again. We're all good.
Discord.
Technical difficulties, half the fun.
Yeah.
If it wasn't technical difficulties, right?
Yeah, whoever's in the chat, in the Discord chat right now, do not leave, because everything will rearrange. We're gonna get to the bottom of a better solution for that, but in the meantime, it's what we got.
But yeah,
So
no, I'm really
what else do we want to? Oh, go ahead,
I
Pat.
have an idea.
Yeah.
I have an idea. There's one thing we have not done on this entire stream, which is a little weird. We have not actually shown the Pluto.
Please.
Oh yeah, we should do that.
That was
That'd be a
something.
good
Yeah,
idea.
I was like,
Hey, there she is.
Hey.
And there's something interesting
I'm trying
about
to
this
touch
one.
it through the monitor. I'm trying to reach through the monitor and touch it.
There's something interesting about this one that Adam just taught me, like literally right before we went live.
So they were very nice to make this nice mock-up artwork of me. With some reason, I have rainbow powers and I make prototypes float. I don't know.
Yes.
So I've got the white Sega Pluto next to me, which is a different story we could talk about. There's the Sega Neptune, and there's a black Pluto. And I looked at it and I was like, it's funny. There's only 2 black Plutos in the world, and you used a photo of the other one. I could immediately tell it was the wrong one because the big obvious difference is this one doesn't say Sega Saturn on it, whereas the one they use does. That's the Japanese one that Roger was referring to. But you're not the only person to make that mistake because the Japanese one, I think Heritage Auctions had it, so they put up a lot of photos of it, and a lot of people did. Whereas Roger's, again, it's just the 2 of us being like, hey guys, look at it.
Yo,
I have a theory. I have a theory though that yours is actually newer, not the other way around. Because if they were designing before and thinking they were just going to put Sega Saturn on it, and then they came up with the name Sega Pluto, maybe they were like, oh well, don't put Saturn on it because it's going to have a different decal on it. What if that?
It's certainly possible, but then again, I mean, that was just Sega with prototype names. Like Game Gear was Mercury, Venus was an unreleased handheld, Sega CD is actually Sega Earth.
Right.
32X, if you actually open it up, it says Mars on the board. Jupiter was a Virtual Boy competitor that never happened. Saturn is the Saturn, obviously.
Right.
They never used Uranus for probably very obvious reasons. Neptune, I just said, is the 32X Genesis combo
I think
unit.
that was the code name for the Nomad.
Uranus?
What?
I'm just joking. It's a dumb joke. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a dumb joke.
So the Neptune, I just held the only one that there is. It's the one in the National Video Game Museum. It's
a shell, right?
And then we can talk all about it. Trust me. The Pluto is this thing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it would have been its own separate console, just a revision. So I imagine they wouldn't have marketed it as the Sega Pluto. They probably just like Sega Saturn Online.
Pluto,
or who the hell really knows?
But you're of the mind that the other one is
right.
You're of the mindset that the other one might actually be newer.
I think that the Japanese black one is the newer one, and I think that for 2 reasons. Actually 3 reasons. One is like we see the label, it says Sega Saturn on it, which implies it was a little further along. Second is when Ben took it apart, he showed under the board like how prototypey it really is. Like certain parts are just like straight up stuff he's got laying around. He's like, okay, some of this is really. But the third one, the other third reason, I imagine we believe that this thing was actually designed by Sega of America, not Sega of Japan.
Right.
And we think that because it showed up in America. But again, obviously that's how Rob. Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah, it cut out for a second.
Yes, sorry. The last thing, I don't know what you heard last, but basically this thing showed up in America, so that's where we assume, whatever. But also, it has a Japanese sticker on it, which I had translated that said, somebody said, what on earth is this? But my friend who translated for me was being very polite. Apparently it says something like, what the fuck is this? Like in an angry tone. So presumably a Japanese engineer looked at it and didn't like the design of it. So I would guess the one that showed up in Japan was the revision of this that they brought to Sega of Japan for some sort of approval phase. That's a guess. That's all speculation based on circumstantial evidence. But that's my guess. But that's just the evidence I've got. I can tell you, though...
That makes a lot of sense, though.
There will be footage of the white one of these on my channel, actually next to this. We did a little reunion tour of the 2 of them down in the museum. The white one is a tank. An absolute tank. Like, this thing weighs, I don't know, maybe a couple of pounds. That thing, we legit thought it was, like, made out of concrete. Like, it was really, really, really heavy. Boy. It had no electronics in it. It's purely plastic molding.
Oh, okay.
So there are 3 known Plutos to exist. I talked to someone at Sega a couple years ago about this, and they were like, again, none of them worked there at the time. But what they told me is like, based on the really cursory research we can even do without really getting into the Japanese archives of stuff, they're like, we made 6. Presumably 6 operational, I'm not entirely certain, but 6, and destroyed 4. We know that 3 exist in some form, which means they're either wrong or they weren't including the white one because it's literally just a hunk of plastic.
And these ones are probably white as well, because these ones are just painted, right?
We're 100%. I mean, the camera's not going to pick it up too well, but you can see there's like a little chip there on the front. Sorry, Roger, I had nothing to do with that. That was already there.
That was already there.
Yeah, and you could see in the video when Ben Heck was scratching the plastic off, you could be able to see the pan underneath it.
Sorry, my headphones the connection sucks, so sometimes it drops. But yeah, I didn't do that damage. Roger knows that. But like underneath that is this white color, and yeah, Ben talked about it pretty extensively. That color is the same one as the white one that they have at the National Video Game Museum, which was really cool, by the way, because they didn't know this existed. And then when we showed it, like they thought the Pluto was just a hunk of plastic. So I was showing them like, no, it works. And the guy was like so happy about it. It was like this, it was just this really cool moment between nerds who would actually appreciate something like that. So having all three of those in there at the same time. So Roger, even though I already thank you again, because that wouldn't have been possible if I had been like, hey, can I borrow the Pluto? And you were just like, yeah, there's a middle finger right there. That's all you. But no, you were cool about it. So
that's the thumbnail for this video.
Right there.
That is the thumbnail.
That's the thumbnail. But
I'll give you some extra takes.
Jeez,
Like Saturn rings around the
Nice. Okay, that's gold right there. Anything you want to lick it?
don't eat it.
Do that. I wouldn't. All right. First of all, there's two reasons I won't like this. One, Roger has not given me authority to do so.
Right.
Two, unlike the Nintendo PlayStation, which actually was final plastic, so yes, I did lick it. This is just paint,
right?
So I'm not really. That might actually
Could
like
be a little
take
lead
paint
in there.
off. Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
worry. I'll see if I can sniff it next time I get there. Go see it in person. I know Kay would appreciate that. The report on that, right, Kay?
Yeah, Trekkie's asked a good question.
Appreciate the sniffing of it.
Trekkie's asked a good question, and that was that with the Giga Drive and even the Champagne Saturn or like the early Saturn prototypes, they were like a hard block of either wood or like a composite, sometimes plastic, sometimes plaster. So you're saying that this brick, this tank white one, is like a plastic shell with like a weight inside, or?
They didn't let us open it, but they said there was nothing inside of it. It was just ridiculously heavy. Like really, it felt like plastic, but I'm no expert in that field. To me, it was just a hunk of plastic.
Yeah.
But it was I remember being legit stunned because I thought it would weigh like nothing because there's nothing inside of it.
We
but
don't want this thing moving.
Like we legit thought they put bricks in it or something because like exactly like
they
were like,
might
nobody will
have.
steal it. It's like 100 pounds. Like you can't move it. It's
got Thor's hammer inside.
Yeah, Mjolnir is in there, so I guess I was worthy because I had another Pluto, so that makes me acceptable. I'm the only. There's going to be footage, by the way, in a video I release because I'm going to do a video about all this. I'm the only person potentially ever that will have held two Plutos at the exact same moment, and that was really physically challenging to do. I'm just saying.
Came home from the hospital. You got the two.
One person on Earth. You're racking up all the records. Last person to play PlayStation prototype. Last person to hold two Saturns. What's next?
Last person, first and last person to flip off all our viewers. Holding a Pluto. I don't think anybody else is going to manage that.
Pluto, yeah.
Last show, so
Get Emilio's orange Xbox, like the orange Halo.
That one, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's my buddy
Yeah,
Emilio.
Didn't he sell to a guy in Australia or something?
He sold it to someone at PRGE, I think 2016, 2017.
Because I could swear there's a guy in Australia who has like this super collection. He was showing it, so I assume he was the dude who bought it, but I guess I don't really know. Doesn't matter. Point is, I know what you're talking about. That's a cool little device.
Yeah. So one thing I'm confused on is that was this supposed to be like the equivalent of the Famicom becoming the NES in America, or was it supposed to be like a souped up Saturn sort of thing?
So all we can do is speculate based on the dates of the manufacture of this versus what actually happened in Sega's history. So we thought, I remember Roger, when we were first talking about this, he said he got it in 99. So we assumed, given how late that is in the Saturn's life cycle, that it was like a tail end thing that they were trying and then they just gave up, like right before they transitioned to the Dreamcast. Like maybe they built it in early 99 and then by the end of 99 it was in a flea market. Not according to the actual device. When we took it apart, it had dates on it. January 24th, 1996, which is much earlier in the Saturn lifespan. So our thinking, and again, this is pure speculation, was that at one point, someone at Sega of America went like, we don't really like the way the Japanese are handling the Saturn, but we have no choice. We have to proceed with it. But they were correct in assuming that online gameplay is the future. They were just way ahead of their time. So they built this thing and thinking, we'll rebrand the Saturn as like this online experience in North America. But I'm sure that someone was, other than the Japanese engineers being like, what the hell is this? They were probably like, do you realize how much that's going to cost? shipping a console with a fully operational ID hard drive that's 540 megabytes in 1996. Like, that's, even Ben said it best. He's like, that's comparable to what was in PCs at the time. Like, the idea that you would ship a game console. And for reference, for people that aren't totally sure of their history out there, that would have predated the original Xbox having the first console hard drive by 5 years. So that's not nothing. So I'm assuming what killed this more than anything was just the numbers. They were probably like, no. But the truth is, we don't totally know.
And to answer Martin Evans' comment or question in the chat, does it have the 4 megs of RAM built in? We don't know, and the reason why we don't know is because we can't confirm that it actually plays any of the Japanese games that use the 4 megs of RAM, and we can't do that because it doesn't work with action replay cards. Hence the need to find a way to run Japanese games so they can confirm that.
It's on the list. Trust me, we have a plan. We have, like I said in the other video, just because we didn't do it yet didn't mean we didn't think of it. It just means, what do you want? Like,
but that's where you're at. That's where they're at. So they still want to find out if maybe that's something they built in. Of course, that would add to the cost as well, you know. So
that would actually, I mean, to be honest,
expensive.
Yeah, but that would make sense. Built-in RAM for the Saturn would have been a huge deal. Like, because as you guys know, the U.S. library, other than I guess it was Marvel Superheroes, really didn't use it. But if it was in there, they might have. Because again, '96, it was still a very relevant time to be bringing games over to the Saturn.
And that really would make it
incredibly surprised if it actually does have that in there because of the RAM compatibility issues for the SNK games, with like the 1 meg games in Japan.
Is there other than Marvel Superheroes, is there a game where if it had RAM that would cause a problem or would be in any way acknowledgeable? Because maybe I could try that. The problem with Marvel Superheroes is that it's like it enhances the frames, but it's too subtle for me to really notice. Sorry, go ahead.
Like what, the US game library? Or?
It has to be the US library, yeah.
I can't think of any offhand, but basically they're the ones that have graphical glitches. If you have too much RAM in there, it doesn't get addressed properly and it just glitches out the video. They're either Japanese or like King of Fighters 95 is European, but that's the easy part. So
I think Metal Slug does that too.
But again, these are all the Japanese games. That's the problem.
All you really need to do, if you can run Japanese games, if you find a way to do that, just first confirm that it runs a standard vanilla Japanese game. And then the first thing you want to test is a Japanese game that requires the RAM in order to even boot. If it won't boot with that, then you know that it doesn't have any kind of RAM built in, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But it's, to me, I mean, you guys offered a different alternative to why it may not be working. But the thing that makes me think it has RAM, again, 2 reasons. One, Ben looked at it and straight up said, I think there's RAM on this. I think there's more in there. That was point number 1. He's the engineer, dude. He's more likely to know. The second is the ancillary evidence of like every single Saturn cart we put in that doesn't have RAM worked. Every single one that did have RAM did not work. And so extra RAM could just be creating a conflict. It's just a simple hardware thing. But again, the easiest way to test that would be if we could run a Japanese game that requires it, then we would instantly know. But it can't get around the region coding because of exactly that problem. So Satiator, I'm telling you, we've got a plan, guys. It's just a matter of logistics and time. Yeah, don't worry. It's not going anywhere unless Roger suddenly changes his mind and tells me to break it with a hammer. Other than that, it'll be fine.
Or your house exploding.
My house is fine. Don't worry about it.
So
it's all good. No, I mean, it's just sitting here on my lap. Everything, trust me, it's all good. So I would never harm a prototype.
Oh, go ahead. Okay.
The one thing that has been fascinating to me, because Roger and I have talked about this, offline for almost 2 years now, actually.
Yeah.
The modem.
Yes. You want to see it?
Yeah, please. And more of shots from the back, the inside. Does it mention that it's a 56K modem? I don't remember Ben talking.
No, we don't. We're not in test. That was one of the things we wanted to test, but it doesn't. The console doesn't even attempt to use it. So in short, the hard drive's in there. Mechanically, it works. The modem, we assume mechanically would work. It is technically connected to the motherboard of the console, but the Pluto in no way tries to use it. Ben suggested that it's drawing power, but not enough to run them. but it's also drawing too much power to run the Saturn normally with them attached. So he actually recommended never keeping them connected when you run the console.
Right.
So we follow his advice when we take it up. Again, prototype. That's why I think the other one's probably better at it. Now, to answer your specific question, don't know for sure, but considering the Netlink came out a year after this did, or after this was built, I would assume it's like 28.8K. I can't imagine it's 56. When I
noticed.
Not 50, I'm sorry, the one, like the 28.8 versus the Japanese
14.4.
14.4.
Yeah, I guess I have no way to test that at all.
Honestly,
the thing.
Yeah, the daughter board is really long. I noticed the daughter board is really long, and it has like a Connexent chip on it. That's a newer chip. So it could be 33, honestly. It could be updated, or it could just be the 28.8 so that it works with all of the established software. But yeah.
Keep in mind, Netlink came out almost a year after this was built. So we don't really know. It didn't necessarily have to be compatible.
That's a good
with
point.
With all the progress that's been going on with like the Netlink versus the X-band modem stuff in the last year, that would definitely be kind of an interesting factor to take a look at, especially if the Netlink games could run without that particular Netlink modem, if the cartridge port itself was functioned for that.
It does.
Okay, so
if you go back and if you watch the Pluto video, I show that we ran Netlink games on this stock with nothing in it, and it doesn't acknowledge that at all. But if you put in a Netlink card, it totally acknowledges that.
Acknowledges it. Okay.
But this either way is just totally ignored. And again, Ben's thing was this prototype is simply not providing enough power to actually do anything with these.
Yeah.
But it's still drawing enough power that he recommended never keeping them connected because it doesn't work properly.
The thing is, there's a little riser board. It's an extra board. You mentioned it. So it's a little riser for the HD and the modem. Similar to how the PS2 also uses a riser, but it's encased in this big piece of plastic, but it's a riser, and I think Ben was saying that there's a problem with the circuitry on that board or something, the power management, not providing enough power. On your video, I think that he was saying that there might be a problem with that board, but it's an unknown piece of hardware. It's like how do you test it compared to something else that works?
Right.
That's
the only option would be to buy the other one. So if anybody out there's got just a ton of money and wants to just satisfy our curiosity, by all means.
I do have a question though. Real quick, Adam. As a huge Saturn fan, as a huge Dreamcast fan, but also a Sega fan, and you own many Saturns, as we know, are you planning on getting a Satiator? Just curious.
I'd love to get one. The thing is, for me, I have so many ODEs already. I've got the Mode, I've got the RIA. I don't need it. And I know I have Fenrir's coming again for review stuff. I would love to review a Satiator, but right now my primary interest in it is literally just putting it in right there. And that's the VCD slot. In fact, let me take that off.
Abrasive, if you're watching this, send him a Satiator. No,
yeah, by all means, dude, I'll do a review video. Unless it doesn't work, then I'll do a normal review video and everybody will be disappointed. But if it does work, right there.
I am really curious though if it does detect that VCD slot though. That's one of the big things. Once you guys get that going, I'm actually kind of excited.
Oh, so I guess I could point out something that's kind of interesting, I think. So you see that the battery, the CMOS battery, is still there, much like the other ones. Now, Roger, I'm going to ask probably a stupid question of you, but I'm still going to ask it. Did you ever replace that battery?
No, like I said, it sat in that drawer. It was I had one of those plastic bins, one of the kids ones that's multicolors for years. I never. Like I said, I didn't think it worked because I put the Japanese games on it and then it wouldn't play, and I was like, cool, and it just sat there.
Right, so that's the answer I expected. Now, I'm pretty sure Ben didn't change it. The reason I bring that up is it doesn't have the Saturn's normal clocked battery problem. It just starts, and it never complains about what time it is. So either he might have changed the battery and I didn't, because if Roger remembers this, I had just take the longest flight route ever and then I crashed hard when I got there. So they did most of that work while I was sleeping. But and I'll double check with Ben, but I don't think he changed that. And if he didn't, that means that it either doesn't have that issue at all or that battery is magic. I don't know. but there's something possibly unique, or I'm really overselling this, and he changed the battery, and my bad.
Yeah. Speaking of that's so detection. Trekkie's in the chat said that you could actually put Marvel superheroes, and if it does have the RAM installed, it'll say like there's a RAM option that pops up, and if there isn't, it's not detected. So that's one way you could check it in case. But
I'm assuming, Kay, you have that game.
I have them all.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah,
So
of
that's. I mean, I can see his stuff. I'm just assuming in that giant, beautiful wall that it's there. So potentially we'll work that out and we'll test. But my goal, honestly, is there you go. My goal is the Satiator because, frankly, it has so many more things we can test. Whereas, all right, let's assume for argument's sake that we got the marble one in there and we just found that out. It's like, okay, cool. Technically, it does something, but it doesn't. Now we're gonna be curious. We're going to want to try a million other things, and we just can't. Satiator, just like boom, all those problems are gone if it works.
Yeah,
so it's probably just going to get with the Satiator at the same time. So it's like that's kind of pointless. It'd be kind of cool to see though, but
I am interested, for the record, to see whether the gamer's cart, K's gamer's cart, does anything. It is a well-made device and it has a really nice beveled PCB, so I think that it shouldn't be an issue for the cart slot. And it also has, sorry, Kay?
I'm curious if this one got tried.
It doesn't. The pseudo Saturn doesn't work.
No, yeah, pseudo Saturn.
The switch on the top that does it turn off the RAM.
That specifically, no. I just used the standard pseudo Saturn that was built on a 1 megabyte action replay.
There's an idea. You can turn off the RAM on that model, and then it just acts as a key to play imports. Lots of options.
Sounds like another potential option. Yeah.
There's
lots
a lot
of testing
avenues
to do. But yeah,
maybe I'll swing by and borrow some of your toys.
Honestly, guys, we do kind of have to wrap and wind this down. But if Adam, if you want to hang out and stick around for the Bulk Slash stream, you guys can keep chatting and having a party. I got to go get the kids and do like pizza night and stuff. But seriously, man, like, thank you so much for being generous with your time. And Roger, thank you for coming on. We appreciate having you both, And
yeah, thank you.
We're lucky. We're very fortunate that you guys were willing to give us your time and talk about this thing, because this is awesome. And I mean, we are super nerds, so we're super into this kind of thing. I hope that other members in the community will enjoy learning about this thing, and stay tuned to Adam's channel, of course, because you're going to want to see the story unfold over multiple videos. I'm sure.
In general, because he has some great videos.
Absolutely.
And has his travel channel.
I appreciate that and all, but the thing I'm more interested in is letting you guys know, if you want to see it in person, thanks to Roger's generosity,
yes,
it'll be on display at Kansas City Retro as a convention on December 11th. It will also be on display at SAC GamerCon in Sacramento, I believe, on December 18th and 19th. There may be other shows in 2022. That's up to a combination of people out there who run conventions and Roger. I'm just like the guy that's like the whore that's like carrying it around while Roger gets to like have a normal life.
Hey, I'll be straight. I'm not going to try to bribe you or anything, but if you decide to bring it to Game On Expo in Phoenix, Arizona,
that one's
maybe
the simple thing. The simple thing about that is talk to John. And if he wants me there, he knows me. Just tell him, like, do you want the other Dreamcast guy, the bad one, plus the Pluto? Then you can have that. I don't
like
see. The thing is, I don't really go out and like hey, why can't I be there? I don't do that. So if you want me there, like, just ask John. If John's like, yeah, bring him out, whatever, then done. That's it. I'm willing to get on a plane and go anywhere. I don't care.
Sounds good.
But
I'll
you can stay at Pat's house for free.
But I want this to be very clear. This is obviously the property of Roger. So ultimately, if it goes anywhere, it's because he gave its blessing. So that's ultimately completely his choice. I don't
That's
do.
why I brought you guys.
I don't do
You guys bring it out.
anything.
I'll get you some dinner.
Yeah, seriously,
I don't do anything
Roger.
with this without Roger's permission. Not a damn thing. He
Yeah.
knows to the point where I think I'm annoying you, Roger, because you hear like micromanagement texts. I'm like, okay, I looked at it again. I don't care, dude. Like,
Yeah, seriously though, like a better guy couldn't have bought it for $3 or whatever. Because if it was somebody else, they might just be like really selfish with it and not like want to get it water graded or whatever. Like it's just like seriously. I'm sorry, I'm gonna keep dropping water jokes, but honestly, they could be like that, and they could be like not really wanting to share it with the community, but because of Roger and because of Adam, we get to see the story unfold. And that's the cool thing. The more stuff you guys do with it, the more it has a story, you know, because its story ended in a cardboard box, you know, until you guys really like helped add to the story. You know, you got Ben Heck involved, and you've taken it around on tours and stuff. So that's really cool. That's great for game preservation.
I like the photo op of having it with the other Pluto and the Neptune. That was like,
yes.
Flex, ultimate nerd flex.
No,
Like,
serious,
see how
yeah.
I'm flexing. I got nothing, but now I got. There you go. There's my muscle.
Yeah, that was a flex.
A flex moment like that's nowhere near as cool. But when Emilio brought down that orange Halo Xbox, I actually had like the blue Xbox, the developer kit, his orange Xbox, all held up in my arms over at the Xbox area, and so I was holding about 4 or 5 Xboxes of all like these different types. And I gotta say, man, I am really jealous that you got to hold on to a couple of Plutos and a Neptune. Bravo.
Just a day. Just a day.
Yeah.
In the life. It was Tuesday for me.
Basically, yeah. Well, technically it was a Saturday, but yeah.
I'm just imagining Bison saying, "I was like, well, technically it was Saturday, but I mean, who's counting at this point, right?"
Yeah.
But no,
Cool.
but I think that
honestly, dude, I really just do stuff like that, even because for like the 6 people that I think are really gonna care, because I'm like, I care about this. Maybe someone else will. I like the idea that yes, now the world knows 2 Plutos were in the same room. Yes, now the world knows there's a Neptune and where you can go see it. Hey, why not? We have a photo of the 3 of them together for the world to have. That's not for me. That's I'm like fortunate enough that I get to go to stuff, and so I just want people to get some cool windfall from that. That's all.
Absolutely.
sounds good. I think we have to wrap up though. I think we're gonna get some of the guests in for the bulk slash, but closing out. Before we close out, did you have anything else you want to plug? Both you and Roger before we head out.
I got my channel. I got my new flying channel, which has a bunch of stuff about, adventuring just like that. And then Twitter, Instagram, Discord, Facebook. Maybe not Discord because I assume that's a conflict of being in here. But all the other ones.
You can share that. There's no conflicts. Oh yeah,
Twitter,
no.
Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we just joined your Discord, so thank you there.
Oh,
yeah.
I noticed. It's a madhouse in there, but it's just my name.
Everyone's in the chat.
Yeah.
It's just your name, all those accounts.
Dudes,
Adam
all
Koralik.
those things are just my name, except for the flying one, which is flying and eating with Adam.
With Adam. Okay, all right.
My name's always attached.
And you, Roger, it's KidVid666, right, on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm never on it, so if you're trying to contact me there, hit up Adam. He's better at getting a hold of me. I'm on the internet, but I'm never really on it.
We'll see you with
Basically,
Adam.
I'm his agent.
Nice.
You need to talk to Roger. You go through me.
Well,
That's right.
that's great.
Intro pass.
We should shout our patrons that help support this show.
Yeah, shout out to Emerald Nova, Johannes Fats, 32-bit stuff, Derek, aka Team, guy behind all the translations for Dreamcast, Momdu, Tanuki Trev, and Young Money Swee for backing us to Patreon. If you want to get shouted on Patreon, $10 and up gets you shouted on the show. Get shouted with Adam pointing the Pluto with it. So that could have been a perk. That's a good perk for them guys. Hopefully,
I was trying to go for like a Muppet talking thing, but it really didn't.
With a copy of the NHL,
I'll throw my voice like this,
NHL hockey.
and you could like do the Muppet thing. But
That's
yeah,
NHL All-Star Hockey, I believe.
I am the almighty talking Pluto. You patrons, if you back us on Patreon, you will get great rewards and stuff, and if you get us $10 and up, you'll be shouted on the show, and you will also get great rewards like early access to Pandemonium videos or access to our videos and edited videos. So if you guys want to back us to Patreon, that's patreon.com, SHIRO Media Group, think that's the name of it, don't remember off the top of my head. And if you want to back us with shirts, you can buy our shirts on the Threadless store, Threadless Sega Saturn Shirts on our website, SegaSaturnShiro.com. And if you just want to support us regularly, just back us. Oh yes, if you want to back us regularly, just back us on our website and share us out. Like, subscribe, comment, leave a hate comment on our page. That would help too. Like, good comments, hate comments, whatever you guys want to do. Let us know. Do we smell? Do we Am I bald? You know, what do you want to talk about? Any support's great, but that's about it from me. And do you want to take us out, Adam? Just got to say, remember, you must play Sega Saturn. That's all you got to say.
Wait. You must play Sega Pluto. How about that?
Oh.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys. Well, stick around for the next hour. We're going to have a bulk slash stream, and it's a good one because they're debuting a new Navigator with the voice redone, and they're going to have the actress in the chat.
I got the good stuff, too.
So it's
Twin
Cologne.
Sticks again, guys.
Yeah, and Pat's going to be playing on the Twin Sticks, thanks to Night of Dragon for patching in that support. So stick with us while I roll credits, and then Pat's going to pick up the stream. Until next time, just remember, you must play Sega Saturn.
No, I wasn't actually planning to bring the Pluto out there. It has no specific reason to go there. But again, ultimately that's Roger's choice anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Roger, what are you doing?
Talking, opening the front door.
Oh.
We're not live yet, right?
No, we're live right now. I just got back live. We're live again, guys. You guys can join the chat now. It should be working.
I was about to ask, is it safe to join?
Yeah, it is safe to join. You guys are live with the SHIRO show, guys. And the guys, of course, Adam Koralik and Roger with Pluto. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab all the stuff off the floor.
Yeah, I'd show it to you, but I guess we're audio only now.
Oops.
I think chat is still locked except for the big buckaroonie guys. So you might want to unlock it.
Oh, is it still locked? Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'll go unlock that.
I accidentally joined during the first part of the stream because I was trying to see something on cam, the disc that got posted to the general, and I think I glitched out your capture.
Yep. Sorry about that, guys. You guys are good to enter. I'm so sorry about that. Discord is fun. Oh gosh, I hope it doesn't switch out the inputs.
Oh my goodness. What? This is like 13 people?
Lots of people in the chat. What's up, everybody?
Hi.
We are playing some Bulk Slash. Oh wow, it's a lot of people in the chat. Oh my god. Playing some Bulk Slash, guys, with some awesome people. We got lots of guests here. We got, I think, is Adam still here? Yeah, Adam's still here. Got Adam, got Roger. Yeah, you're still here. Welcome to the Bulk Slash stream. Got Kay. Oh my god. Got Argoween. Guten Tag, Argoween. Wie geht's mit dir? Und Memphis. Wie geht's mit dir auch, Memphis?
Hi, guys.
Hello, how's it going? Today we are playing some Bulk Slash and like a new translation, a new Navigator of it. Cologne, right? That's how you say that? Wait, is your mic up? Lackaway, or you're not talking?
Really?
I can hear you.
You mean it's not colon Stainer?
Colon blow.
I thought it was colon Steiner.
Can everyone not hear me?
I can hear you now. I'm gonna raise you up manually though.
Okay. I'll try to project. Yeah, our best guess is Cologne Steiner because the first names are all derived from global currency, and this is the currency of Colombia and I think one or two other countries.
Should have been Cologne Deutschmark, but that's just me.
And then Steiner is I guess it's a pro wrestler.
Scott Steiner? Kay would know.
I don't know anything about wrestling.
Which wrestler is it?
Steiner Brothers?
You remember?
They said Steiner Brothers. But anyways, we are here with great guests today. So why don't we get started? Ooh, great voice! I love the voicing.
Will you be playing with a twin stick today?
Obviously, I would not be playing without it. Also, I need to make sure I said it, because I actually don't think I said it. Or did I hit? Where's the B button on this?
Oh, to cancel out, you tilt the right stick down.
Oops. I'm pretty sure I said it beforehand, so we should be good to go. Actually, let me go restart, because I actually want to show the graphic. So I actually do want to show that off. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not doing that great today. But yeah, this great project. I've been really in love with it, and I actually wanted to go back to the menu because I did not show off the awesome graphic that I think, was it Dan, or I think it was Dan that designed it, right?
Yeah, Danthrax made the graphic. Are you here, Dan? Not here? Danthrax made the graphic, yeah.
Oh, he's here.
Oh, he is. Oh, I don't hear.
But yeah, I'll go to the thing. So go down to control options. My video's blacking out. It's like it's like hanging in there by a thread, so a lot of no signals. But it's all the resolution switching.
You're getting comments in chat saying that your volume might be a little bit higher than everyone else's. I
Okay,
don't know if you
sorry
need
about
to
that.
up the levels on chat.
Sounds good. Is this any better? Can you guys talk?
Testing. Testing.
Test.
I'll raise up the volume on my end too. So sorry about that. I actually lowered it because it was really loud and everyone's blowing out my eardrum. So should be good now. But anyways, yep. You can see there's controls B, C, and then of course D, which is the awesome twin stick controls. The graphics by Danthrax.
Is he on an older one?
What?
Are you on an older version? I thought I fixed that line up on top.
This is what was sent to me by Dan.
It's possible that it wasn't put in the patch. I don't know exactly what the timing was, but I think Dan may have made the patch slightly before that fix came in.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Hey, there you are. Yeah.
Oh, finally, I fixed it. Yeah. So Knight fixed that little visual glitch at the top of the screen. He fixed that yesterday, but I sent the patch to Patrick 2 days ago. So yeah, that's fixed now, but you don't have a version of the patch in which it is fixed. Sorry about that.
That's cool, Dan. I still love you.
Or actually, I made the patch 3 days ago. I made it on Tuesday, I think it was, and then we tested it for a couple days.
But how about that twin stick graphic?
Yeah, let me go
Completely
back
from
to it.
scratch, right? You just pull that out of.
Yeah. Well, I think that I found a photo of a twin stick from a good angle, from that angle, and I pretty much just started tracing over it in Microsoft Paint with, pixel art, using all of the color palette that is normally assigned to the screen. So I just used what was there so it wouldn't make it any more complicated. And that took me like 6 hours to do. And then there was another 2 hours of like paring it down and trying to find places where I could reuse tiles, because it didn't fit in the file in the game. We didn't have enough space, so we had to start playing around with like bringing the little labels for the controls you see on the left and right.
Mm-hmm.
We had to bring those closer to not just the twin stick controller graphic, but also the gamepad controller graphics, so we could shrink how long the cyan lines are there, so we wouldn't have to draw that many tiles. It was a whole thing.
It was really, really well worth it, because I think it looks better than the controller graphics that they had.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It
Thanks.
does. So big props.
And I would argue that it controls better with the twin stick than with a regular pad.
Absolutely.
I think I have every game compatible with the twin stick, and I think this is now the best one.
My twin stick just arrived like an hour ago, so I gotta test that out soon.
Oh man,
nice.
you gotta put some photos in the chat. Let's see that.
I haven't even unboxed it yet.
Ooh. I'm still wait. Hey, did you ship out my the thing you sent?
No, I haven't. I've been really stuck with the office, but I will get to it.
Sounds good, man. No rush. I'm gonna play that on stream one of these days, though. So once that's revealed, but why don't we get into the game and start talking about the Navigator before we run out of time? Because we always seem to be cutting it close with the game.
You have not. I just wanted to ask Knight a question real quick regarding the implementation of the controls. Were the twin stick controls already mapped inside the game, or did you have to try to remap normal controls to get to it?
I had to remap all the controls, and I had to rewrite all the controller routines on that setup screen to get it to work.
Okay, so it's not like a hidden feature that they just kind of dropped off. Like you actually had to like get the addresses of all the inputs from the twin stick.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you about that later because I might want to use something like that.
This just want to shout out that new font set.
Yeah,
that
I was waiting for that so I could chat that out. But yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's all Dan, but yeah, you know, it was just one of those things that like it kind of looked like the briefings were shouting at you because they were all caps.
Get to the chopper now!
But you know, older games, that's a thing sometimes. And so I figured it was forgivable, but Dan just pulled that out of thin air one day. It was like, hey, look what I did.
Yeah, one day I was like, so I did this. What do you think? Yeah. And everybody's like, wow, it looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, we kind of had some delays here with getting Saskia's voice into the game for Cologne. And with recreating the music for the endings, the project was kind of slowing down for a little bit, so I kind of used the time to start redoing work I'd already done with redrawing those all that text for the briefings. Because I had enough comments from people where they were saying, you know, oh, why is it all in caps? Why can't you just use lowercase? And the original reason was because we didn't know if we'd have enough room in the file to have bespoke lettering for every single instance of text in the game. So I kind of assumed that we were going to have to start reusing pairs of letters because each tile is 16 pixels wide, so you fit 2 letters on there. I thought we were going to have to start using pairs of letters, and you never know if they're going to be lowercase or capital. So I just made them all capital. And then we got to pretty much changing all the letters in the game, and we realized, oh, we still have plenty of room. We were able to do everything bespoke. So I'm like, well, I guess I should go back and make it all look better. And the thing is, having it lowercase, it does give us more space. So I was able to go back to Greg's original translations, so Lacquerware's original translations, and add some detail back into those briefings that we couldn't fit before.
Yeah, we had to make a lot of concessions and edits to my script just to fit it in the space. And you know, in some cases, I think being concise can improve a script, but it meant cutting some of the details that were in the original Japanese, or just some of the nuance. So this is actually making it a more faithful translation, and I think also. I think it sounds a little better as well. Not to mention, it no longer looks like they're yelling at you. So,
yeah.
I know. I kind of like it when they're yelling at me. No, I'm just joking. That's really cool though. The effort, and it looks a lot cleaner.
Yeah. So it's easier to read, and readability is important. So I'm happy with how it's turning out. It's not in this patch, but I just finished yesterday making all of the Navigator intros when you encounter them in a level, making them lowercase as well. So I think I'm done making things lowercase. I'm not going to change the credits because it's just way too much work. It's 200 lines of stuff, and they look all right in all caps anyway. So I'm just going to leave those.
The credits are something that should be shouted anyway. So
yeah, it's true.
Thank you for playing our game.
But it was a nightmare. It seems like it was a bit of a nightmare yesterday with you doing the Navigator intros, because there are when the Navigators introduce themselves, it's text and VO simultaneously, and after the end of each, usually it's like 3 sentences, and each sentence has a pause after it.
Yeah, it pauses both her talking animation at the top, and it pauses the displaying of the text. So we had to have our English lines, the graphical text, land exactly where the Japanese ended as well. Otherwise, you're looking at, the beginning of the next sentence, or this sentence hasn't ended yet, and it would look real bad, look janky.
This is one of those many ways in which doing an unofficial hack is a lot harder than doing something where you have access to the developer. It can be like, hey, can you change where it pauses? Like nowadays, if you were localizing a game, you'd just like be like, hey, we need it to pause here instead of here, and they'd be like, okay. But
right, we don't know how to change the pauses, and it's not important enough to ask Knighted Dragon to use his time to do it.
I don't know, he doesn't have anything
good
better
enough
to
at
do.
hacking, he could figure it out, but he's done so much already with helping us figure out videos and to implement the twin stick controls and figure out the graphics for that screen that, it's like, well, we'll just kind of write around it pretty much.
Yeah, it's been sort of a recurring theme of the project. Figure out how to do as much as you can do without any coding, and then occasionally beg Knight of Dragon when we need an actual coder. And I think that's kind of a fun part of the story. We've tried to be scrappy and resourceful without having much technical know-how, and we've found a way with a lot of this stuff. It's kind of like the bar to get into doing this kind of thing is not as high as it might seem.
Yeah, it's really, and that's a really cool thing about it, is that you don't have to have that much technical skill to get into this. It's not like you have to be a programming god. It's like it's very, I would say simple, but if you put in the work, you could get it done.
Yeah.
But only thanks to you to your Discord channel brought together. Yeah,
I mean, it really is like a miracle of the internet, and it's all through your platform, guys. Like having created a place for all these people to hang out and talk about Saturn had the side effect of bringing together a bunch of people with different disciplines.
And it all started almost 9 months ago, like next Friday, because it was February 19th when we were, kind of looking at the old archives, was when Lacquerware was asking about, hey, I'd like to get into fan translations, and you're like, hey, well, hop into our Discord. People do that here. And you started figuring out you're like, oh, I'd really like to do bulk slash. And then Momphis started kind of asking questions, and I came in, and we were all kind of trying to help each other, and Knight was helping, and then I think over the next couple weeks you started translating it, Greg, and then by March 1st, you, me, and Momphis were all in a private chat together, collaborating. So
it's amazing, and I'm very happy that you guys were able to find each other and get this awesome project off the ground, because it's changed pretty much it's almost changed the whole translation scene, and just propped it up on top of you with a bunch of other people, and just the revolutionary idea of just fan dubs. That's like something I don't think I've ever seen.
I think it set a new standard.
Exactly, definitely a standard for the better, and I'm really glad that you guys are working on this, because I love all that you guys do, and that you branched out too, because not only are you working on this one, but you have like Seawin doing the translations as well for Soccer Wars, and I think you have Danthrax doing the Cotton one as well. You worked on and it's just interesting how different people have branched out beyond that, and we have like other translations based off of finding each other, and it's like it's amazing, at least to me.
So sorry, go ahead.
Just real quick, I was gonna say, I think it bears mentioning that this whole dub project, this is the product of people with very little experience, including the actors. It was all volunteer work. We had zero budget. We had completely inconsistent environments for recording. It was all done remotely with whatever mics people happen to have lying around. And I think it came out pretty well. At least for a Saturn game. It might not hold up to the same scrutiny as a modern like PS5 video game in terms of fidelity and stuff like that. But I think I think the quality speaks for itself. So like, if other people were inclined to take on a project like this and had like any amount of greater resource than we started with, I think that you'd be surprised with the level of quality people could turn out, you know? Like if there was someone who had actors all within drivable distance to the same studio so they could actually control the environment, you know, like there's so many ways that like someone could do better, but I still think this came out pretty well. Yeah. So.
Honestly, this sounds like even with all the struggles you guys ran into, this sounds professional. This is like what would be, and like it sounds just as good, if not better, than a studio that they would have in the 90s when this game was being released.
So, do we want to talk about how we brought Saskia into the project to voice Cologne here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you want to meet and you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the project?
It's to the right. Yeah, hi you guys again.
Hello.
I'm Saskia, and it was quite funny because like I worked with Mamdu together, like we worked in the same place, and he was just like, yeah, we have this project and it's so cool, and he told me about it and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And yeah, actually that's it. And then I was the voice actor.
So maybe I should explain a little bit of the context behind the character. So if anyone who's played the Japanese version of the game probably recognizes Cologne as the one who speaks a lot of basically she's your tried and true nebulous foreigner character, which is like a trope in a lot of games and anime from Japan. There's this idea of like foreigners in general or Westerners in general. So she speaks a lot of like sort of dodgy English, like when she gets hit she goes, oh God! And when you do something good she goes, wonderful! And it's like katakana English. And she ends up being sort of the most import-friendly navigator because a lot of her VO is already in English, even though it's kind of silly English. But for localizing, it presented a unique challenge because what is the local equivalent of that? And my first idea was maybe we don't need to do anything to her, just leave her VO exactly as is.
It's ahead.
Because it's a bunch of English and it's silly and people like it. But a lot of the important terminology, like when she's actually giving you directions, like go left, go right, that's in Japanese.
Oh my God!
And I thought it was maybe not quite enough English for it to work. So I went through a bunch of ideas. The idea I sort of landed on. It was convenient that one of the guys on our team, Momphis, is from Germany, and he knew Saskia, who had studied English. Saskia, is it correct that you studied English in UK? Did I make that up?
Oh no, I think you made that up.
Oh my God.
I volunteered in Cambridge for homeless people. So
that's right.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's kind of the same.
Yeah, he studied by volunteering.
Exactly.
We spent some time in UK, and
definitely.
so we thought, well, that might make sense because it's Steiner, it's a German name, and so that was like at least our first lead. And then I had this idea that we should try and keep a little bit of this concept that you can't quite pin down what her background is. She's just like non-denominationally international. And so you'll notice there are a few lines that are not German or English. We threw in a little bit of other languages just to give this idea that she's like well-traveled, and we don't know why or how, but that's like her deal.
Behind us.
But mostly it's where she speaks English in the original version of the game. She now speaks German, so like when she's counting targets, the numbers are in German. And like when she's emotional, like she'll drop a Scheisse.
Yeah, we just got that. I dropped the bomb.
Things like that.
She's like, oh, 9.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was tricky. It was the trickiest navigator to localize. But I think Saskia did a great job. We just had a second session the other day. It was so much fun. And just like I think more than any of the other recording sessions, we figured out who the character was during the recording session. Like, I feel like the recording session was really important to figuring out what we were doing.
Other than Asuka, a little bit from Evangelion, for I guess those of you that don't know. But yeah, no, I do really appreciate that, and that was really cool that you went with a German-esque character, and you did a great job with the voice as well.
That's all Saskia.
Yeah, so Saskia, yeah.
Thanks so much. It was so much fun, and I had so much help from Greg and Mamdu. It was really so nice. I love it.
Nice. So are you familiar with the Saturn at all, or have you played the Saturn before, or this game at all?
No.
Oh, fair.
I didn't know anything about the game, but yeah, I mean, we talked a lot about it.
It's ahead.
Yeah, it's pretty normal to not know anything about Bulk Slash.
Yeah, don't worry. I think there's only like a couple of voice actresses that did know about it, and voice actors.
Just Edovine, and mostly because she's friends with a Bulk Slash speedrunner.
Yeah, also Cargo
Aquas.
Cargo Dan, who did a couple lines for the endings.
Oh, that's right. Cargo Dan, plays it too. That's right. Mm-hmm.
And I guess Crouching Mouse. Yeah.
Crouching Mouse, you're right. Yeah, good call. She plays Kina, who we'll see next. That's the last Navigator.
Although that's really awesome.
Cologne was the last Navigator that we implemented. We've had Kina ready to go for a while. Forget what I was gonna say.
That's right. How long ago? Sorry.
Just that Memphis helped a lot with the scripts because I don't speak any German. I know basically just Scheiße.
Du kannst nicht durchsprechen? Oh, das ist schade. Das ist schade.
You guys, German is so good.
Ja, ich habe in Schule in Juni studiert. Ja, Memphis und ich hat wir durchsprechen.
Oh wow, okay.
Ja. Memphis ist mein Bruder, mein deutscher Bruder. Sorry, yeah.
Did you study German or what? I've always wondered.
Me or? Yeah, I studied in university for about. No, I started in high school for 2 years, and I went to university and studied for another 2. But I've been speaking it in total for 15 years or so, I think. So I started in 2007 is when I started taking German in school.
Wow.
Yeah, I really like the
15
language.
15 years? Jeez.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I age myself too badly. I was talking about that about the Wii. That they're like, oh yeah, the Wii, it's just 2007. It's like, dude, the Wii came out 15 years ago. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable with that.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm good. But yeah.
I still remember it.
But yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it a lot, especially someone that speaks German as well. So it's really cool. But yeah, no, it's really cool. Are you sorry, so name Arguing, yeah. Arguing, are you going to like be playing this when this drops, or playing it with Mom 2 at all?
I really hope I can play it. Oh my god! I think with Mamfu's help, maybe can play it.
There.
Yeah, Mom, you gotta get it set up.
Yeah, actually, I showed her the game last week, and I wanted to show her like her part into it, but yeah, I was slow. Yeah.
I didn't bring enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Well,
this one's tricky.
I played through it like 4 times this week, and you know, it's funny, like because this was the Navigator I always used back in the Japanese version. I had like her voice in Japanese is very like strongly like ingrained in my head, so it was very difficult for me to like adjust. And then all of a sudden this week, I was like, oh man, this is her. Like using Saskia's voice, I was like, man, it feels so right all of a sudden. There was like something just clicked into place. I had to like get over my my old like experience with the game. But
yeah, it's like this is not the voice now. This is the new voice. But no, it's
I'm
really
just
cool
super
though.
happy. You know, this was such a challenge. It was like a big localization challenge, and I'm just super happy with the results. You know, one of the hard parts that I got a lot of help from Momfus with is not just coming up with German lines, but coming up with German lines that would be mostly recognizable to someone who may not know any German, who's playing the game. Which is, you know, like when you're playing the original game, all of the English that Cologne speaks in the Japanese version is stuff that you would probably learn in like middle school English class, which is compulsory in Japan. But like not everyone takes German in the rest of the world. So some people like not everyone learns German, but there's enough shared word roots with English that we were able to find a way to like kind of replicate that same idea of like words that everyone will recognize and that they might find kind of funny. Like when people hear swear words they recognize in another language, it's like they get a kick out of it, right? So like Scheisse is not something you're gonna learn in school, but it's like everyone knows that word just because it's like the dirty word.
Honestly, I thought it was supposed to be like a throwback to Asuka. I was like, oh, he's doing an Asuka thing. That's kind of cool. Also, oh my gosh, can I kill him? No, I don't want to die.
Aim at the bridge.
I can't. It keeps aiming me right.
There are a few German terms throughout this game, like the Spätfest, which we can't really figure out what that's supposed to be, but it's the weapon that they use to. Like
They're threatening to use it to destroy a planet's worth of people. It's like a super weapon.
Yeah. So it felt like there was like a little bit of German influence throughout the game already, so it's kind of worked.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it really adds to the cast of the game and their personalities of each of the navigators.
I gotta pause you guys for a second. You tortured Pat with the auto locking on the right stick, didn't you?
Yeah, I was auto locking. I was like, why am I aiming?
Oh, yeah, that's Knight, do you want to speak to that at all?
Not really. Oh.
It seems like you figured out the fix already, right?
Yeah, that's another thing that like he fixed, but after I sent this patch to Pat, so
that's cool. I like the idea that the controls are changing. I like the idea that the controls are changing each patch. So like I have to like you guys changed the button for the firing when I was already used to it. It's like, oh, actually I'm liking it on the left stick. It's like, oh, we changed it to the right stick. It's like, oh no.
Blame Lacquer for that one.
It just felt, I mean, I don't know. Like, I guess it's a matter of what kind of games you're more used to. I think if you have it all on the left stick, it feels like a flight sim. But I've always thought this game controlled more like it's actually surprisingly modern in that you have the D-pad. The default control scheme is the D-pad moves forward and back and strafes left and right, just like a modern left analog stick. And then you rotate with the shoulder buttons, which is kind of like aiming with the right analog stick. So I thought emulating that made sense. I think inevitably you spend a little more time in walker mode in this game, even though you're free to transform on the fly. I mean, is that incorrect? Maybe that's incorrect, but
I always felt like I was flying around a lot more.
Yeah.
Than using walker mode.
I mean,
Yeah,
Pie in the Sky would have been great to offer more control options for the twin stick. It just never. I don't know. Like.
Oh yeah, somebody said asked me on I think it was Twitter in the last day or two if you can switch the inverted controls for vertical. So instead of pressing up to point your nose down and pressing down to point your nose up like an airplane, he was asking if you could have it up to go up, down to go down, because that's how he always switches for video games. And that was a response to me saying, oh yeah, we put a new control scheme in the game. It's a twin stick. So I had to tell him, no, there's bulk slash does not allow that at all. That's in none of the options. And I mean, I'm sure we could switch it for one or all of them, but I feel like the game was intended to be kind of used with flight controls like a regular airplane. And I mean, we can't add more than the 4 control schemes, unfortunately, or add like some way to modify one for just one little part of it, like changing the inverted controls. So it's like, well, I don't think we can do that for you, bud. Sorry.
Essentially, what he basically said is get good. Essentially what he said, so...
Yeah, get used to it. Well, I told him, or her, whoever it was, I told the person that just try to use walker mode more, because that's not a problem with walker mode, because up is moving forward and down is moving backward.
Shadowmask actually gave a good suggestion. Just change the inputs in your emulator.
Hey, yeah, there we go.
If they're using an emulator, yeah, it's true, they could do that.
Yeah, you can do that.
You can't do that.
Back then it was rare for that option to exist. It was kind of assumed that up would be down and down would be up. Especially in a flight sim, because that's based on real flight controls.
Yeah, in the 90s, flight sims were everywhere, and they all used those controls.
If he changes it in the emulator, pressing up would go backwards in walker mode.
That's true. It would mess up walker mode and make it feel weird. But if the person is more concerned with flying, then it would make flying feel better to them. So it would be a trade-off. Something's gonna be messed up either way.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a flight sim, so probably just get used to like the flight sim aspect of it. So, no, I really enjoy it. I really enjoyed the layout of the controls a lot. And once they fix that auto lock on, I think I'm gonna be really happy. Don't have to worry about locking onto the middle of the ship, because that's one thing with that battle is that it was just kind of hard to do that. But I really like the control layout now. I'm used to it now, so please don't change the shoot button. But you know, I really enjoyed it. And there's one thing I want to talk about is that you guys were on a couple shows or showed on a couple channels since we last talked. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about that?
We were on Digital Foundry. Man, when was that? It feels like forever ago already.
Late August, wasn't it?
Late August, yeah.
So it was forever ago, yeah. And they were very kind. They had a lot of kind words, and it was fun to be on there. I don't even remember what we showed. I think it was Leone, wasn't it?
Yeah, we showed the Leone patch. They switched between Leone and Naira.
And Naira with Rachel. And then we were on, so we got featured as part of a fan localization's worth your time video on GameSack on the YouTube channel. And again, they were very kind. That just went up, was it last week?
Yeah, last Sunday.
Yeah. It was a good video. Yeah, both of those were really good. I really enjoyed both of those. It was really cool, and it's cool to see. I think Seawin was also in there. He had a couple of his stuff he worked on was on there as well, including the.
Basically, everything except Shin Megami Tensei was stuff that I had given to Joe.
Nice.
Yeah, so all those Soccer Wars games, the Game Boy one and Columns 2.
I'm always joking in the comments section that I held his copy of Green Dog hostage in exchange for Soccer Wars coverage.
Fair enough.
Oh my God!
Hey, no, that's really cool that they feature you on that channel. Or Joe from GameStack. I think it's just him now, right?
Yeah, it's just Joe.
Fair. Man, this thing's kicking my butt. But yeah, no,
next week we're doing Conan. No, I'm just kidding.
That's confirmed. I confirmed it with their agents. Conan is gonna happen. They're gonna be on Clueless Gamer, and they're gonna like talk about the game. It's gonna be awesome.
Have you played Bulk Slash Conan?
I don't play video games.
I mean, he does play games badly as like a segment where he like makes fun of them, so it'd be perfect.
That would actually be very, very entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
He was like a closet Saturn fan this whole time.
He was like in the shadows, like watching the channel, following SHIRO closely. It's like, I can't let them know I'm a Saturn fan. My reputation would be ruined.
Been waiting for us to call him.
Well, it was featured on some shows in the 90s, so maybe there are some closet ones out there.
Saturn fans or Bulk Slash fans?
I just said Saturn, like maybe Drew Carey still secretly has the one that was on the set.
Yeah, he just secretly has like, I love the system. I will never give it up.
Man, you just got a 70,000 point bonus. So we never talk about this.
You just went back. You gotta go back.
I figured I went down.
This game is using that bomb all the time because the scoring is based on chaining explosions together. So what you're supposed to do is let your meter charge up, and then you unleash a bomb into the center of a cluster of enemies, and it will blow up the enemies that it touches, and then the explosions from those enemies blowing up will continue to blow up things in a chain reaction. And if you like 4 continuous kills or more equals a chain, and then the chain increases your score like exponentially the more enemies you blow up in a chain. So you should be like lobbing those bombs all the time if you care about score. And the only reason to care about score, other than bragging rights, is it helps you level up your navigators. The navigators all...
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Especially in this stage, it also really helps because the chain attack clears all the rooms. If you throw the bomb before you enter the room, then you can get clear of all the bad guys who are killing you. All
yeah, because it's close quarters. Yeah, so you throw a bomb into a small room, and you're probably gonna clear out the room.
Yeah, I keep dying on this one. I think I might not change the difficulty. I think I might have set it back to normal. So it's like I get my butt kicked.
You had it on hard?
What? I had it on hard? Are you kidding me? Dang. I was wondering why the thing's kicking my butt on this level. At least I hope that's the reason. But
it's certainly not on easy, because I always play this game on easy, and I can tell there's way more enemies than I'm used to.
That's good. I didn't grab the thing up here, did I?
Don't forget to check the idle voiceover lines when you idle for a few seconds.
Yeah, she says stuff when you stop moving.
Let me go kill the stuff so I don't get killed when I idle. Oh my god, stop shooting me.
So see it on the map that's still there, yes.
For those who don't know the game, it's sort of loosely based on dating sims. I guess Tokimeki Memorial was like the big craze at the time. So the idea is that you can raise your affinity with the navigator that you have riding with you. And so there are 3 levels for each navigator, like 3 affinity levels. And their voiceover changes a little bit depending on the level. And in this game, the idea is when you get them to level 3, their navigation gets more precise. Because that's their main function, right? Is they tell you where to go. And when you start at level 1, they just say go forward, go back, go left, or go right. But then when you level up to level 3, they'll tell you the directions on a clock. So say target is at 1 o'clock, etc., etc. But there are a few other lines that change. They'll call out what kind of weapon hits you when you take damage, and also when you just sit still for a few seconds, they have these idle lines that they say, and they have the number of things that they can say during those idle lines increases from 2 to like 4 or 5.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that. I don't notice it like right away, but I see it subtly. Like, you start saying, "Hey, they're a little bit more less wooden now, and a lot more talkative." Man, these disc things like follow me a lot. They do not want to go away, do they? There we go. But you know, I definitely, I love just like the personality that's brung to these navigators, because it feels like, you know, you're building a relationship with them almost, you know?
That's the idea.
Exactly.
Jonas brought up a good point. Perhaps we'd like to show one of the ending cutscenes before we end the stream, whenever it happens.
I'll try my best. I'm kind of getting my butt kicked on this one, so I might need to. I'm not sure we're gonna be able to show it off. Are you able to show it off?
Just play the actual video file.
Oh, you can actually play. Oh, I don't. Oh, do you have a link to it I could play, or?
I think we can send you a link.
That works.
Guys, what do
Yeah, we can link you to the AVI video file that we have on Google Drive.
I'm about it. Should I send it to you on per private message?
Yeah, just send it to me in my PMs, and I'll go at it in a bit. I'm just yeah. I think it's almost about time, anyways. It's about what
7:30. Yeah.
7:30. Yeah.
7:30 Eastern.
Much of what we spent our time doing for the last several weeks is working on these ending FMVs. It's a lot more challenging than the in-game VO, and one of the big holdups and challenges was that the music needed to all be redone from scratch.
And the sound effects. But yeah, the music especially, we really wanted to get it right and sounding like the originals, which I guess involved trying to find some sound samples that were from the 90s. Is that right?
Something like that.
Is Shadow Mask?
Shadow Mask. Yeah, he's
Shadow Mask.
Shadow Mask is our sound effects.
He's in the chat. Yeah, Shadow Mask has been great with helping us to balance all the sound. The man's an expert at balancing the voice acting with the sound effects and the music, making sure that peaking is kind of mitigated and that sort of thing. He came up with all the sound effects recreated, and he has been helping Jiggle85 and his brother to recreate the music. So he's just been extremely helpful to the project in the last couple months.
I'm very happy to hear that.
Especially since I was so busy with my family stuff and my work, so he took over workload from me regarding the effort.
Pat, you can shoot those pink spikes back there, by the way. You can blow them up.
I gotcha. Yeah, I'm trying to blow up these things real quick.
I think it's a testament just how long this hiatus was between patches. I did a whole new translation for a different game in the interim.
Yeah, that does encapsulate it pretty well. It's been a while. Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's worth mentioning, like we, Dan, I think you were saying it's been, how many months?
Been 3 months since last time we were on the SHIRO show. Yeah, it was mid-August.
Started the whole project.
Man,
earlier on the stream.
I'm gonna die.
It's been since February, but it's like, at any rate, like it's the only reason this project has taken as long as it has, which I don't even think has been that long, is just because like we've all had personal life stuff get in the way. There's been a lot going on this year, so I think in a less eventful year, it might have come out even.
Oh my gosh!
quicker.
Come here with the fire blaster. Hold still. Oh, too late on that. It's gonna not get hit.
I recommend, flight mode, low speed, homing missiles.
Yeah, let
They're your friend.
meter charge up and fire missiles. So this guy's very mobile.
Those missiles, I thought, this is such a cool effect. I think that looks so good.
Oh, thank God, I beat him. So close.
Well, you think you did.
Oh gosh, I forgot he has another phase.
Voss? Yeah, this is the Voss.
I forgot. I shot
Yeah,
for
this
guessing.
boss and the last boss both have two forms, and those are the two times that you hear the Navigator say a line relating to that. And with Cologne, she's saying boss.
I'm ready to die.
Saskia, was there a line that you remember that was particularly hard, or like you just didn't really know what we were looking for when like?
I think it was really hard for me, like, to pronounce the like the weapons, like Fire Blaster and Desire Blaster.
Dizzy Blaster. Yeah, every single actor stumbled over that, and we had to explain it every time because none of us knew that word before this project. It's such a random name. The Bezier Blaster. It's named for a mathematical curve, which is the shape that the gun. It's like the gun is. It looks like a Ghostbusters beam. and I guess they achieved that effect using a Bezier curve, and so they call it the Bezier blaster.
Should have named it the Ghostbuster gun.
They should have named it that, yeah. Proton blast or something.
Exactly, proton packs. I would have been fine with that language change.
See, this is one of those things where if this were an official localization and we had the blessing of the original creators, we would probably propose changing the name of something like that, because it doesn't click with anyone. You know, no one sees that and is like, oh yeah, it's a Bezier gun. You know, but if you said like proton beam or something like that, some people would probably think of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I'd call it like the Arc Blaster or something.
Or the Arc Blaster, yeah.
Oh, whoops,
That's not true. If you're in computer science, you'd get it.
If you're in comp sci, you would get it.
Yeah.
If you're a computer science, you're a
Alright, so here's her
true
ending.
programmer.
Here we go.
Let me still get that centered, guys. Give me a sec. They'll play that off. They're in the middle.
It's like how the Fire Blaster should be like a flamethrower.
Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Cologne, would you be my partner for the rest of time?
Oh, Chris, I'm so
You can hear it on stream. Just not in
Just a
Discord.
second. Oh, hey, it's from Miguel.
What now?
Ooh, Arnold.
What?
Wow, Conrad and Giuseppe.
Who's Giuseppe?
I'm sorry, something just came up.
What? Hey, hold on.
But deep down, you're the only one for me.
The way
That's
she
really awesome.
runs away at full speed.
That's amazing.
So that's Saskia as Cologne and Jonathan Boncher as Chris Dooley, our protagonist. One quick note here that the names of her many boyfriends in that cutscene, in the original Japanese, it was it was Sylvester, Michael, and Arnold. And we sort of deliberated over this because the juxtaposition of Arnold and Sylvester together, I forget who it was, but someone watched that and was like, oh, she's dating those movie stars. And I was like, I don't think, because it's Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I was like, I don't think that's the joke. I think that's just like foreign names that they thought of, and they're like little Easter eggs, like referencing those actors. I don't think she's supposed to actually be dating 90s movie stars in this far-flung sci-fi future.
Right, this isn't
That
Earth.
would be so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, does that mean, for English speakers who are super familiar with those actors, does the joke get muddled because those names are so familiar? So we made the decision to change the names. And we tried to go for more international names to emphasize this idea that she's got boyfriends from like all over the galaxy. So she's got a Miguel, and she's got a Giuseppe, and she's got a Arnold we kept.
Yeah, we kept one.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, I think that's about as much time as we have here. I have to head off in a bit. But did we before we go, you want Arguin, did you want to sort of plug anything that you have, or any like channels or anything, or Twitters or Facebooks?
No. I'm not that famous. But thanks anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on here, though. We
yeah,
appreciate that you talked to everybody, and that you volunteered to do a voice in our game to begin with. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
It turned out awesome.
Your time for 2 separate sessions.
And
it was a lot
don't
of fun.
forget, she was the first, I think, she one who made an addition. Or when we covered up that we are able to alter the voice clips, I asked her to give us some voice. After I did, I implanted my voice into the game, and it didn't sound good. Yeah, she was the first to go with like for proof of concept.
Yeah,
so thank you.
Saskia saved us from making Momphis play Cologne Steiner in the game.
I pitched up.
That should be a hidden bonus.
No, this will be the German version then. Yeah, after we finish this one, Pat and I and then Xenos and other guys will make the German version with male voice.
Wasn't that what, like the official, like the original German version of Grandia? Wasn't it like that, where they actually just had like bad German acting just dubbed over top the English voice acting?
Oof.
Yeah,
They did
for the FMVs, yeah, it was like that.
Oof. So they did like the good old movie dubbed on TV in Spanish.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Really terrible.
All right. Well, I think that about does it. How long do you guys think it's gonna be until this finally comes out in the wild for people to play? Do you have more of an
Dan,
idea?
you've been looking at the progress tracker. You said it was 94% last time you looked?
We're about 94 or 95% done. We have a little more work to do on redubbing the endings. I think really we just have the general ending left to finish. And we've just got a few more odds and ends. We got to get the localization team's credits into the game after the main game credits, and a couple other RAM error screen translated text needs to get put in, that sort of thing. Just a couple odds and ends, and then we'll be done. So, I mean, I feel like we're looking at within the next month, this patch should be ready to go and out to the public, and everyone can enjoy it.
Oof! I gotta get that video done pretty fast then. Get that out to get that out and get it ready for release.
Oh, yeah, I'm sweating it trying to get the translated manual done too. I've been kind of working on it while we're talking here.
Yeah, sweating.
And
I'm sweating myself.
We still have Kino to show if you guys want to do this one more time.
Absolutely, we want to do it one more time. We want to do it 12 more times, actually. All the times.
Just keep going.
Exactly. Let's do this. But yeah, I think that's about it, guys. So remember, you must play Sega Saturn and keep track of these guys and keep track of their stats, and soon you'll be able to be playing this and be blasting away with bezels and throwing flames. Werfen Flammen is what you'll be doing. So
Flammenwerfer. Yeah.
Flammenwerfer. No, you're gonna be Werfen Flammen. Werfen Flammen Allertagen. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys, and take care and see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate that. That was really cool of you to... Oh, my mic's still on.